I'm Mike of Genuine Chit-Chat. This is Spider Down and Spider Down the Secret Boars, and we are reviewing Clan of the Cave Bear at Forbidden Worlds Film Festival 2026. No one's going to get that joke because no one has seen the movie. No one has seen this film.
Just for you.
On IMDb, there's like 17,000 reviews.
Just for you, Mike.
Thank you. Do you want to try and tell us? The year was 1983, by the way. Do you want to? No, it's not. It's 1987, right? 1986.
86.
This film was made in 1986.
The Clan of the Cave Bear, starring Daryl Hannah. And other people, but I don't recognize them because they've all got these massive Neanderthal brows.
Yeah.
So this is a story about a group of Neanderthals that adopt a Cro-Magnon or an other, or a Homo erectus, Homo sapien.
Homo sapien. Homo erectus. Prior to both of them.
Sorry, yes.
Do you not know your
I
anthropological
know, I'm so
history?
sorry. So I should have done so much more research going into this.
Gosh.
So, and it's basically her life, trying
Fictional person.
fictional person, not real, not based on anything, on fact. So I guess some fact, but it's a fictional story. And it's about her being different and how she differs from
Blonde hair.
blonde hair, beautiful, no big brow.
No massive forehead.
But yeah, it's basically about a cave woman and her life in that era and how she manages to circumnavigate the world, her family, enemies, the wildlife,
Well, I mean,
relationships, you name it.
I would say all respect to Forbidden Worlds Film Festival. You know, we appreciate being on the press team and all that jazz.
Absolutely.
Love the film festival.
Yeah.
This is probably the worst film I've ever seen in my life. Is this Fear.com?
Come on. Come on, really?
Yeah, this Fear.com and Star Wars: A Holiday Special
Wow.
are joint the three worst films I've ever seen.
Wow.
Mainly because of not just my own enjoyment, but there are no redeeming qualities of this film. That's the thing. There are some really weird, like we saw Visitor Q. Okay,
Sure.
That film is not good.
No.
But you can have a lot of conversation about it. There's a lot of stuff in there to talk about, and there are some through lines I understand. There's like it's doing a lot. That film is weird.
Yeah.
It's some funny bits.
Lot
It's like
levels,
a
lot
dark-
levels.
It's the darkest dark comedy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But there are bits to it I enjoy. There are scenes which I enjoy.
Yeah.
In this, there was not a single moment in the whole film where I was like, oh, I get why someone would want to watch this.
Yeah, I didn't know about this film. I'd heard about this film. I've heard of similar films that may or may not do it better.
You didn't warn me of this,
And I said I hear this one is not great
because
it's I mean,
was the dialogue thing.
it's mostly the dialogue. So I said to Mike, I believe it's there may not be a voiceover. It may be pure. There might not be subtitles. It might just be purely physical motion and like hand signals and sign language. And
There's no spoken language.
yeah, no spoken. There's no English apart from a voiceover we do get, which I'm glad of to a degree. So I was under the impression it might be like that. So I warned Mike, but also I'd read some kind of reviews or some articles and stuff about it, and I was like, I hear not great. Daryl Hannah maybe is not the best actress in the world and not known for being the best actress in the world. Speaking of Kill Bill, she's in there. But
Is she the one with the missing eye?
yes, yeah. So there's so I was going in trepidatious myself, I think, and I said to Mike, I don't know how good this will be, but we'll go in open.
I was more optimistic than Dan was.
Absolutely.
I was like, Caveman film, that'd be fine. I'm fine, and not a lot of
I like the
dialogue.
variety, there's kind of like there's a kind of a feminist angle to it, and again, I have no issue with that.
Yeah.
But I think it's the execution.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
The thing is, I don't know of any caveman or prehistoric movies that are good.
Yeah.
Like I just don't think the genre lends itself to being good unless it's a comedy. I mean, everyone hated Year One. I quite liked Year One.
I didn't mind that.
But
I
it
didn't
was
mind that.
you have to go knowing it's a dumb Jack Black Michael
Yeah,
Cera
exactly.
movie.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like it's not highbrow. It's the low brows, literally.
Yeah.
But like I just don't, and like obviously Flintstones iconic, but like
Yeah, sure.
and Captain Caveman,
Yeah,
like,
Captain
iconic.
Caveman, yeah.
Obviously that's modern day, but a caveman comic.
Yeah.
But I think for me this film it felt like a student film, and it also feels like in a documentary when you've got like a dramatized version of like this is what prehistoric people did. It's basically that, but with no
Like reenactments.
Yeah,
like
historical
reenactments. Yeah.
That, but the through line plot is paper thin.
Yeah.
Almost all the dialogue is very, very tiny amounts of like made up sign language.
Yeah,
So it's not like American Sign Language or anything like that. I think it's just like
Nothing-
random ones.
Yeah, I think it's something they've created for the film,
And they're
which
like-
is cool. It's a cool idea. you know.
Conceptually, and then the odd word, but mainly the only words spoken are people's names, right? But all the names are like really stereotypical. It's like Krebs.
This was understand, by the way,
Yeah,
to
that's
reference
understand.
our
I understand.
joke earlier, which Mike understood.
Yes.
But nobody else will
There's
without being given the context.
Ayla, Usa, Kreb, Cloub, and it's a lot of that. And it's just there's not much of a plot really. This feels like a short film, or like in an anthology of other stuff.
Yeah.
But it goes on for quite a while, and there's just lots of inconsistent stuff. There's sexual assault that happens in it,
Yeah.
quite a lot, and it doesn't add to anything.
No, it just kind of happens.
Yeah, and it's not historically accurate. Like the limited amount I know about Homo sapiens and Neanderthals and things like that.
Yeah.
It's not really historically accurate, partly because you don't really know the stuff that happened back then.
It is based on a fiction book as well, I believe.
Apparently they changed quite a lot to make it, because the speaker
Make it
before
work.
well, because we came in as a tiny bit late because the gap between the films was only half an hour.
Yeah.
So we came in partway through the speaker, but she did say that they changed quite the book is held in quite high regard.
Yeah.
But again, I said I wouldn't mind the book because I believe it's essentially narrated by Ayla or someone. So or it's third person. So it's like narratively you're guided, and it's a woman's experience of being the other in a tribe who isn't accepting her, and that
Interesting
transcends
idea.
time.
Yeah,
that is a
interesting
really
idea.
great. But when you've got no real dialogue, you've got a tiny bit of narration, and none of the plot threads go to the next one.
No.
That was my big issue.
I feel like we talked about with the Legend of the Eight Samurai, it does feel like serialized.
Very
It
much
feels like this is like I'm doing bite-sized GCSE and I'm learning about cavemen, cave women, and here's a 3-minute thing about something they might have experienced in that era. And then so we see, like you mentioned earlier, like the counting.
Yes.
Which is,
I mentioned that before the recording.
Before we recorded, you were talking about counting, and Ayla can count further than 3. Everyone else seems to struggle, but they've got this one, a Mog-Ur, which is the religious, like priest or figure who is there, and he's quite, he accepts her because he's like disabled and disfigured and has scars and stuff and has a limp, and is like, okay, we're going to bring her in, we're going to adopt her and make her one of us. So she can, but like you said, you're like, but she can count, but why would anybody else stop counting? After 3.
Once you can conceptualize of counting, once you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, once you know, as soon as you learn the numbers of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you know counting. It's not you learn 1, 2, 3 and then you stop. If you're like a baby and or like a really, 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 really small kid, it's understandable. But again, this feels a lot of it like all the interaction with, essentially it felt like children interacting. And I'm like, but the lack of language doesn't mean a lack of emotional maturity, and that's what this film felt like.
And like you were saying, like they're very much like completely against her being in this clan. They're completely against her. They're looking for any excuse to throw her out. And there's millions of opportunities where they could absolutely get rid of her.
It's almost every scene.
Pretty much every scene they're like, oh, you better find a mate. You better learn a trade. You better behave. You better, bow down to this leader because he's going to beat you up otherwise. And there's all this stuff, and you think, oh, one of these is going to go very wrong, and then they kick her out, and then maybe she goes on her own journey, and and then like we were talking about the rape scene, the sexual assault scene. What comes of that? She has a baby. not really anything else. There's no kind of catharsis. There's no development,
and it contradicts itself.
Yeah,
and that's the thing, because what happens is, my big issue is the whole thing is it can be perceived through a feminist lens, because she is going through a lot of struggle, and she, against the odds, pushes against the people who tell her she can't do stuff because she's a woman. But that isn't how hunter-gatherer tribes of Neanderthals works. There is no evidence to suggest they were sexist in any way. If anything, they are more of an equal society in certain respects, because it was just. It was primarily men did hunt, but a lot of the women were gathering, and they were both viewed at equal footing. Hunter-gatherers, they would go out, hunt and get stuff, bring stuff to the cave. They were both equal in society. In this, it was a group of 20, maybe 30 people. And it was literally just all the women do is seemingly nothing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them don't even have kids.
Because Ayla later on has a sister from the adopted mom.
Yeah.
And she pretty much does nothing.
I don't remember her job being mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't know her name. She was never taught. No, she was never taught to be a medicine person.
The only thing she kind of did was because she was the younger sister. It was quite more another person to support her being in the tribe.
Yeah.
And throughout this film, you do get characters being more sensitive, but like. For example, they were like, you can't use. They made this big thing about women can't use weapons, can't use tools. It's not allowed. If you do, death.
Yeah, you would be put to death.
And she's seen several times using weapons, and it never results.
She gets banished once when she's pregnant, but they say you're banished for a full moon cycle, which is 1 month.
Yeah,
so it's like 28 days ish. Okay, a full moon cycle. Yeah. She's pretty pregnant, but then. They leave her out there. She finds this other cave that she occasionally visited, and then she survives. And it goes through 3 seasons because it was quite sunny-ish, and then spring. Then it snows really heavily, and then she just brings the baby back at some point. And everyone's like, "You can't come back here."
Yeah.
Oh, but you are now.
Because they say, "Oh, no one has ever returned," so they assume this is a death sentence for her.
Yeah.
And she's going to be a spirit, effectively a spirit. But there's all these opportunities where. Again, it was frustrating because there were all these interesting opportunities they could have had, and they just shit the bed on every single one of them at every point. You just go, oh, she's now in the finale. The spoilers, the finale of the film has a kind of a fight between the leader of the clan and her, and you think, oh, she's going to take over, but actually. That doesn't happen either.
The old leader literally says to the new leader, who is son and
Browd,
he literally says, "I wish Ayla was my child.
Yeah,
you're a disappointment.
She has beaten you."
Yeah, and that's when you think, "Oh, she's beaten the up and coming leader, and also the current old leader has now said, I don't even want you as a child. You've disappointed everyone."
Yeah, and then pulled the necklace off, which was a sign of him becoming the leader. Removes it, so think right. It's like the Chekhov's gun thing, but you never have. It's never used.
Yeah, 100%.
At every point in this film, they go Chekhov's gun, Chekhov's gun, Chekhov's gun, Chekhov's gun. Here's where we're going to use a gun. Don't use a gun.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's like, I think it would be a better feminist allegory if she became the leader of the thing. If she changed everyone's minds. Yeah. No one's mind ever gets changed in this whole film.
No.
At the start of the film, when she gets adopted, only 2 people in the whole clan accept her, which is the adopted mother and the gentleman who's got a cripple, as he calls himself. Those 2. And then by the end of it, it's pretty much the same, except the old leader then goes, she beat him in a fight.
Yeah.
No one else. There's 30 odd people. No one else does anything in the whole film.
It feels like a first writer's attempt of going, okay, what's the next obstacle?
Yeah.
And then going, forget about that obstacle.
Yeah.
Or they go, it's like, here's the obstacle. This is gonna be hard. This is gonna be difficult. You know what it is? It's the movie pitch. It's the movie pitch thing.
I was gonna say
it's basically them going, oh, is that gonna be a problem? No, barely an inconvenience.
Yes,
that's what it. That's
pitch
what
meeting. Yeah.
Pitch meeting on YouTube. He goes, oh, this is gonna be. Is that gonna be a really big issue? No, barely an inconvenience. This happens.
Yeah.
We even meet a blue-eyed, lovely,
when all the clans meet together.
Yeah, clan.
And I thought that was going to be interesting. I was like, this is where the film builds up, because all these different clans, what they do differently.
Blue eyes, they're different.
I was like, what all these clans do differently?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
They're all just the exact same clan, and all of them got the same type of leader, and also all of them are white people.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And they all just...
Some of them didn't even have the brows either, which I was like, isn't that a big thing of
and
this?
They all meet, and they all have the exact same viewpoints, and all have the same kind of leader, and all think she, because she has blonde hair and she's an other, shouldn't be a part of
And
that
they all
group.
fight a bear.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I thought they were all different clans of mountain
'cause
lions and
one's the cave bear, so you think they're the bear
the
one.
cave bear.
Yeah. And it's like, no, that's just, they all just fought a bear. And it was this weird scene where that 4 men, or 5 men, all fought a bear.
Yeah.
And if they survive the bear fight, they then are in line to become the leaders of the clan out of the change.
Yeah.
But then the blue-eyed guy, who wasn't even in the fight, tried to get in the fight because Ayla decided to get involved for some reason.
She was trying to help somebody, I think, or heal them. Or,
and then she was potentially going to get attacked by a bear. Yeah. This blue-eyed guy who they had an interaction with jumps in the way and gets his head ripped off.
Yeah, the scene before they meet, and you think potential romance here,
and she's going to escape the clan with him, and that's going to be her journey.
And they've set up that she needs to have a mate, or she's going to be rejected by the clan. Which is every like you said, every scene is you're going to get rejected by the clan, so you better do something about it, even though she's been rejected before. And then they just keep allowing her and just letting her off, and I'm like, where's the tension?
I thought what was gonna happen is like she was gonna get kicked out of the clan and either find another clan and they were thriving under her leadership, or she'd start her own clan, or she'd just be by herself for a while and learn to
bridge the two races together. Find a way to
the others are the Neanderthals,
because they talk about it with the voiceover talks about it with such importance. You think, what is she going to do? How is she going to change the world? What's going to happen? Is she going to have, and the only thing I can really think of is she has a magic vision, which they introduce kind of, which I think is them saying, oh, this is a hallucinogenic drug,
maybe,
but they're saying it's magic. And he goes, oh yeah, I had a weird vision, and it meant that I've got to abandon my son and then clear off at the end of the film.
My son has to go with the bear, and I have to go with the mountain lion, which is my...
It was so much about the son and how important the son was, and how he knew the old ways, strangely, when he shouldn't do.
It was at 4, he had the memories of the old ways.
And it was like, right. And then like the most interesting bit is like it feels like the whole movie was a I don't know if it's a series of books but it feels like almost the adventure has begun just as we're
it's like a prologue.
Yeah,
and it was frustrating because like there is a good movie somewhere in there.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think you could have made, if it got remade, it could actually be really interesting if you had like. It's also because it felt really low budget, and the cinematography wasn't great either.
Yeah, I also think this was like DVD quality as well. I don't think it's been remastered.
No,
I don't think there's a 4K, unlike Excalibur. And some of the other.
I don't think seeing this film. I don't think there's anything really redeeming, because anything good, was good in it. Everything is done a better way and is well thought out in other things. And it's just frustrating because I feel like there could be so many opportunities for this to be good. And as you said, like the acting across the board isn't that great, but I don't know if anyone's really given the opportunity to really be much of an actor. And it's like the hunting stuff, like they could have worked out. Like I thought, hunting, she's going to be the lead hunter, and they go, "You're now a hunter, okay." And then like 1 or 2 scenes later, they're like, "We don't want you being a hunter anymore because you're an annoyed woman." He's like, "What?
Yeah,
why?"
Yeah, she becomes a medicine woman to do a scene with showing doing medicine, and then forgets about it. Then she becomes a hunter to hunt for her own child and to protect her own child because no man wants to be with her. And then again, it's like introduce an idea, throw it away. Introduce a new idea, throw it away, and it's very frustrating.
And also one thing with so there's a sexual assault in Israel, and obviously that's a trigger warning. But silver lining is it's the least graphic, least offensive sexual assault scene I've seen in any film ever. Even the one in Andor is way worse than this one. But it's obviously obviously very unpleasant. But
it's still
she doesn't want to do it. He does, and basically he's like the guy who does it. He is the current leader's son. He's the one who eventually becomes the leader, and he basically forced himself upon her, and then and it's like this symbol, like two hands together like that, and then following that, every other scene he does that to her, and then she basically gets on her hands and knees and lifts her bum up, and it's like go,
and then bows down, and
then it shows he's about
being
to do
submissive,
and the whole thing of another huge reason, as Dan said, is why she's not accepting the class, because she doesn't have a mate. The word mate is mating. It's to do with mating. Back 40,000 years ago or before, when you mate with someone, you have their child. You two have sex. You have a child. You mate. He does that with her, but then she isn't considered his mate. He does it in front of people in their cave. There's several scenes
around the whole tribe
where he's doing it in front of everyone, and she's like, "You need to find a mate." It's like, how? But he is mating with her.
You can't be in his hearth. And
the hearth only gets mentioned right at the end.
But the thing is, like when he becomes leader, and it's like honestly, it was like The second he becomes leader, he goes, right, these things are happening. Like, and you just think, I just think you wouldn't just do that straight away. You wouldn't just go, right, I need to fuck this person over immediately.
Yeah.
You would be, because
at the ceremony,
there's a whole ceremony.
He gets the thing over, and then immediately on him, he's like this.
Like, now the character must do this, because this must happen, because this character needs to go there and do this thing. So it has to happen now, or it doesn't work. And it just feels like.
And the other subplot throughout the whole film is the current leader saying how his son, this guy who assaults, is not worthy. He's too angry. He shouldn't be the leader constantly. And then he makes him the leader. And the scene before that is him telling one of the other people, when he becomes the leader, it's going to destroy the tribe. It's like, why are you making him the leader?
Don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
There's no thing that says the leader has to be a lineage thing.
And like Kleb, the religious leader who's, again, like disabled and everything. And like he makes this big thing going like, you know, why are we kicking her out? Why are we excommunicating her when you wouldn't excommunicate me? People have called me a woman, saying that, in his opinion, saying he's weak and not deserving.
A burden,
that was it. Yeah,
because when she's pregnant, a baby,
that's what he's implying. You know, in that scenario. And like there's this big thing, and you think, all right, he's gonna leave, so she doesn't have to. Yeah. He's gonna sacrifice himself. But no, he just fucking sticks around.
He sticks around, and then like when the other guy comes the leader, he says, right, now you have to leave, Crab, and he's like, okay, and then everyone is going, wait, you don't have to, and he's like, I do, I have to follow the leader's rules. Like, no, you don't. Like there's like 30 of you, none of you agree to this one guy who's just now wearing this like tooth thing, who's not really even the best hunter necessarily. He's not really the best anything.
Yeah.
He's just a dickhead.
Yeah. But that was the thing about the weapon as well. Like the
swiggy rock.
Yeah. There's like a David Goliath thing, isn't it? A cat pull, whatever you want to call it. Sling or whatever. So this kid is going to be taken away by this white wolf.
Yeah.
It gets captured and is being pulled by the neck and is going to die. And immediately she's been practicing on her own and doing it on her own in her own cave and everything. And she goes like, kills the wolf immediately. And they go, oh shit, she can do it. She's used a weapon. The kid is saved. The wolf is dead. But then they don't just immediately kill her.
No.
They go, show us that trick again. You know that thing? You know that thing that you're not allowed to do and you are punishable by death? Show us again how good you are at it.
Yeah. And then she does, and they go, yeah, you are still really good at it.
And then they go, well, you saved a life, so we can still abandon you, but not actually kill you.
Yeah. And then just come back in a month. Yeah. And then, but even though you've just shown to us that you can hunt.
Yeah.
So clearly you'll survive.
And then that's it. She has the baby, and she's clearly been hunting, and she's got all the stuff on. Like you said, 3 months somehow, 3 seasons pass in a space of a month.
Yeah,
I don't know how that works, and then she comes back, and they go, well, she can clearly hunt, and she knows how to use a weapon, so we'll just let her hunt.
So she's a medicine woman, and she can count, which people don't know about, and she's a medicine woman.
And I know, I'm sure, people will say, women have to fill a lot of roles, and it's very difficult. There's a lot of spinning plates and stuff. But it's not how the way it appears.
None of the other women had they had no dialogue, no comments, no agency, no nothing. And I'm like, if one of them is the medicine woman, and there's another 10 women in the tribe, none of whom have children. Yeah. Because the only kids you really see is her and her family's ones.
And then like Kled makes another guy the religious leader. Why wouldn't you make her the religious leader? Because then you can't remove her, surely.
Exactly. It was so weird, and it was like, oh, so this random guy who we've never heard of before is the religious leader.
You know what it makes me think of? It makes me think there was a comic book DC did years ago called the Commandy Challenge. And it's about a kid who's it's a Jack Kirby thing. He lives in a post-apocalyptic world. He's the last teenager. Everybody else is like a mutant, basically. The Commandy Challenge, the idea is that a team of writers and artists would write one issue and leave it on a cliffhanger. The next issue is done by a different artist.
Like the full circle Spider-Man thing.
Yeah. So they go, right, that's the cliffhanger. And now we've got to figure out how he gets out of that cliffhanger, tell an interesting story, and then leave it on the next cliffhanger for the next creative team. That's what this feels like, is that here's the inciting incident, here's the problem, here's the obstacle she needs to overcome. How is she going to overcome it? And then the next team that comes along is a shit writing creative team, and they fuck it up.
Yeah.
And then they go, this is our objective,
I feel like if this was made by like the way Star Wars Visions is made, if you've got, say, 6 teams who animate the studios, different styles, and the whole is literally, here's a story about a clan with one person in it who is another, and then you have to do it chronologically. But you get 6 people, and they each get 15 minutes to tell a short story, but it has to be a through line. That could be something amazing and really interesting, especially if it was kind of historically accurate. But they didn't really do anything. That's the weird thing. It's these prehistoric people who didn't really travel. They just lived in the cave. Okay, we saw them hunt once, if that. We didn't really see them hunter gathering.
Yeah.
We didn't see them like learning to communicate, trying to teach the young people anything.
And they make out because they're
No cave paintings.
They're moving to this new cave that Ayla finds, which is another reason why they don't get rid of her, because it's like she found the cave, this perfect cave for our community. And then they make out, and they're there for years because Ayla grows up.
Oh yeah, like 10 plus years.
Yeah, like easily 10 plus years, like minimum. And then they're like, oh, we've got to travel again. And I'm like, well, why are you traveling now? While you've stayed there for literal years.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, it's the season, which again doesn't make I couldn't figure out the time either. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's the worst film I've ever seen, but it's not a competent film at all.
I just my issue with it more than anything is, so to repeat what I said, is although empirically it's not the worst made film I've ever seen, it's not got the worst acting I've ever seen, it's not got a really problematic message, but there is no part of this film that redeems any bad stuff. No. And almost every film I've ever seen, when it's got a really shit bit, it's got a bit that's really at least good or adequate, or something to balance it out. Yeah. It's got, or at least go, look, the whole film sucks, but this one scene is really cool. Or this, in this film, it didn't really have anything that I could say is redeemable, and that's why I dislike it so much, because I love Star Wars prequels. They are renowned for having really shit bits, but really cool bits. This just
stuff just happens.
And so, especially some of the Japanese films we watch, even like Whale God, which has very problematic stuff in it, but it has some very cool stuff.
Very well made film. Yeah. Well acted, well performed, well shot.
I don't think I've ever seen a film that is so bland and boring, and then just has not even a one scene where I was like, that was the cool scene everyone talks about. That's why I say, again, it's not objectively the worst film ever made.
I like the poster.
Okay,
which is the white face and the paint.
That was very cool. And then that's in like a.
I like that.
That's only on. She just only wears that for what, like 3 seconds.
And it's not and the white isn't there. It's just the red.
So and it's at the scene right before she has the vision. But then after the vision, it's all wiped off.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, it's not, yeah.
It's the worst film I've seen at this festival. It's the worst film I've seen all year. It's probably the worst film I've seen in 10 years.
My entire life.
It's really, again, it is. I mean. If you said to me, do I want to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special or this? I'd see the Holiday Special. And
I would definitely watch the Holiday Special.
Because it's so bad it's good. But this film is not so bad it's good.
No.
It's just bland. Yeah. It's so beige. Yeah. But it's like pixelated beige.
Like the films that the introduction was talking about, all the references and stuff, like 100 million BC, 1,000 million BC, whatever it was. I'd rather watch that. I've not seen it, but I imagine it's more fun. It's more genre.
Yeah, I saw a film which was called, I think it's 65 million BC or something like that. And it wasn't a good movie, but it was alright. There was some action events.
This just takes this, like there's like an erection joke, there's like an impotence joke.
But it's just after like the attempted sexual assault,
which is like okay, I guess.
And it's after like the third or fourth sexual assault.
And I think the problem is as well, it takes itself far too seriously.
It's like
far like we see this like there's an opening scene where Ayla's family are dying. Like there's an earthquake and they fall. And honestly, it is like there's a crack in the ground, and it is probably 3 foot of water. And they're like, no,
like caught in the edge of sand.
And they're like, Ayla, help me! And she's like crying. It's like, it's like honestly, you could just stand up and you'd be fine.
Yeah,
you could just.
But also that sand, like if you grabbed it a bit harder, you would just have some.
You'd be fine. You'd be fine. But they make it out like it's this horror. Like if it was like going into lava or like a huge chasm or something, it's clearly just like.
Well, I think it was a budget thing.
Ditch. It's a ditch.
So when the tree fell, I thought the tree's going to hit them. That would make complete sense. You could be walking in the forest, and a tree could fall on someone that could kill them nowadays. And I was like, oh, that's what they're going to do. And then the tree fall just doesn't hit them, and I'm like, great.
I didn't mind the scene where the little Ayla goes in the little crack in the cave and the mountain lion's there trying to get her.
That was
fine.
That was well done.
Yeah, I thought that was good. Yeah. But again, that is 30 seconds of a 2-hour film.
Yes. Yeah. It was. It was just a lot a lot of nothing.
Yes. So yeah,
I was so bored. That was my issue.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing about films. I was so bored the whole time. The only time I was interested, like, clowns all meeting, and I was like, this is and then that only lasted like 5 minutes, and then it was gone again. I was like,
oh, the inciting thing. Oh no. Oh, it could be. Oh, this could be something. This could be something.
Yeah. And so I think that's probably we'll sort of end it, but like.
Not for us.
And there wasn't really any interesting music or anything like that. It was
again
low budget.
Like it's a very. It felt like kind of a bit made for TV as well. I think. I think that because even the makeup, the Neanderthal makeup wasn't really that interesting.
Some people just have bad teeth. Like teeth.
They're like, oh, put the teeth in, have a brow, and and I can tell that the actors are really trying. I'll give them that. They are really trying to give it a go.
Yeah, it's not the actors.
Yeah, I know. I very almost rarely blame actors, to be honest, unless it's like a absolutely horrendous.
It's normally the actors made an issue and the director hasn't corrected them.
Absolutely,
but that's not the case here.
Yeah, it's ultimately the director's job to catch shit like that. Really, because
that's their job.
Yeah, exactly. That's it's your fucking thing. You're the one who's going to ultimately be blamed if it's crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, it's not. It wasn't for me, and clearly it wasn't for you. Again, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have loved it and enjoyed the screening and got something out of it. But yeah, it was
from IMDb. It's like 5.6 or something, and I think a lot of people just watching go, that was just so okay, like, no opinion. And I think on Letterboxd it's on like
2.7, I think it was.
Yeah, out of 5, which is about 5.4. So again, everyone is basically just like, it's not the worst thing ever because it's not like overtly shit or horrendously offensive. It's just really, really, really bland.
Yeah,
with nothing really that makes me.
And I think bland is a better word than boring. I'd say it's bland. I've seen boring. It's not boring, but it's just not. It's flavorless.
It is. It is flavorless.
It's like like you said, beige.
For me, it's fizzy water. It's like water. It's less refreshing than water. I hate sparkling water. So for me, I'm like, it's worse than water and has no flavor like sparkling stuff. So it's just, why would you do this?
Yeah,
but it's not like drinking sewage.
I will say, like Forbidden World's defense, I like the variety. I like seeing the films. I like the difference. I like
100%.
I can never fault their choices. It's just the way I feel about those particular films.
Yeah.
And I think it was a good one, a good addition to add. Again, it's a female-led one. I think there's definitely benefits of seeing it.
For a film festival, I 100% understand why they put it in there.
Absolutely.
I just personally didn't like it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Like very much like when we did, The Whale God. We absolutely understand why it was there. We understand why it was picked. But again, ultimately, that had some problematic stuff we just couldn't get past.
Yeah, and that's why we like to do these. Where I try and watch as many films at Food World as possible. Because I'd never heard of this. I think the book's held quite high regard.
This could have been your most favorite film ever.
It could have been. I said that. I said something like, "Could you imagine?" You were saying you weren't looking forward to it, and I was like, "What if we go this down?" And this film was amazing. And it turns out I may have. But yeah, I think that'll do it. I'll wrap it up. So, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, again, check out both the feeds, Spider Down the Secret Balls and Genuine Chit-Chat on YouTube for video versions, for clips on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, and other places as well. Audio feed on Spotify and all the podcast apps.
All those good places.
And we've still got Excalibur to review for day one of Forbidden Worlds. And we've got plenty more, including things like Highlander and some other cool stuff as well. Very much excited for Star Night, loads of crazy stuff. But friends, thank you. This is probably the longest one so far. Thank you. We thought this was going to be the short one. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, share, and we'll speak to you very soon. I understand. Goodbye.
I understand, and I understand I hate it.